grew up with the job. It's just, if you want out.
All right. Love you, bro.
Yeah. This shit might get a little straight home from school.
Listen. You be a man.
Ain't no lying to the help somebody, help me, y'all, help me now.
Right, yeah. Right.
How much they got in there? That's beach money. I run it.
Walls are
And door.
3 inches in combinations.
1992-2024 appears during the 1992 Los Angeles riots, when the city was on the verge of collapse. The chaos of the protests and violence creates a deeply personal story of two families struggling to survive.
No one minding the store.
Some people have taken to this. It's everyone's safety, families. You know.
Repair broken relationships and make choices that will shape their future. At the heart of the matter is Mercer, a middle-aged security guard working in an expensive warehouse amid riots. Mercer's life was a mess, filled with guilt and regret about his broken relationship with Ethan, his teenage son. He was once a devoted father. Mercer's decision, most of which is neglect and abandonment. As a result, communication and trust between the two broke down. Now he spends his days in isolation, trying to rebuild his life.
How are you? Rich. Because that's what.
Just about, sir.
Force and Murphy, they're like my secure and safe. Fuck you.
Let's go!
Haunted by past decisions, his only goal is to repair his relationship with Ethan. But his son grew dissatisfied, blaming Mercer for years of lack of passion. Deeply wounded by his father's abandonment, Ethan became angry and rebelled. He was drawn to the violent protests sweeping the streets of Los Angeles, which reflects the turmoil within himself. When the riots intensified, Ethan's behavior also became more erratic, and he began to drift further and further away from Mercer. Mercer, despite his best efforts, but he was unable to contact his son, who saw no hope in their strained relationship. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Raymond, a career criminal, preparing a risky heist. Raymond lived a life full of crime, trying to escape the dire financial realities plaguing his family. However, his relationship with his son Dante causes constant tension. Dante grew up in the criminal world, tired of the violence and destruction that comes with this way of life. He constantly yearns for a way out but is stuck in the situation. Dante's resentment towards his father has subsided over the years, and he saw the root of Raymond's misfortune. Out of a desire to preserve Raymond's financial stability, so he plans to rob the same warehouse where Mercer works. The purpose of the theft was to steal high-value electronic equipment that could give Raymond and Dante a better life. Dante reluctantly agrees to take part in the heist, under pressure from his father's influence. Even though he was more worried, Dante hopes that stealing will be the last thing that will take him away from this life forever.
Charlie Mac 19er, we'll do a flyby.
Father and son duo Mercer, Ethan, Raymond, and Dante are on a collision course. Each family has to fight their own struggles. As the city around them falls into chaos as the film builds tension, the riot serves as the perfect cover-up for Raymond and Dante's theft. By giving a feeling of safety, meanwhile, the chaos outside is the perfect distraction. But inside the warehouse, personal stories are about to reach a boiling point. The fateful night of the heist had arrived, and tensions are quickly escalating.
We're in Vernon at, copy that.
About you. Is we'll be in and out.
Where do you think you two
Work.
Mercer works regular shifts in the warehouse, unaware of the dangerous situation that awaited him. As he fired the bullet, he is soon met by Raymond and Dante, who break into the building with guns. They need access to electronic devices, but Mercer refused to comply. He doesn't want to take what doesn't belong to them from criminals. But the situation quickly became more serious. At the same time, when caught in the riots, so he fled to the warehouse, seek refuge from these people in distress. He didn't know his father worked there, but he knew the warehouse was a safer place than the chaos outside. When he arrived, Mercer sees this as an opportunity to make amends. He stayed these nights hoping that spending time together would heal the wounds of their broken relationship. But Mercer's attempts to connect with Ethan soon take a turn for the worse. When he discovered that a robbery had taken place, Ethan's presence in the warehouse adds another layer of complexity to the situation. Raymond saw an opportunity to use his son against his father, and threatens Mercer and Ethan to ensure the heist goes smoothly. He told Mercer that if he didn't cooperate, Ethan will get hurt. This forced Mercer to make a difficult decision, torn between wanting to protect his son and trying to prevent further violence. Tensions between Mercer and Raymond escalate as the heist continues. Raymond's ruthless, violent tendencies clash with Mercer's attempts to calm and protect his son. Meanwhile, Dante is struggling internally. He watched the events unfold, feeling more and more guilty about his role in the robbery and his loss. Even though his father was pressured, but Dante begins to question his own life, seeing a young man, Ethan, accidentally get stuck in a dangerous world. This makes Dante reconsider his actions. He begins to regret his part in the robbery and wonders if there is another way out of this cycle of crime. When the situation became more volatile, the chaos in the city outside mirrored the chaos inside the warehouse. The escalating violence threatens to devastate all involved. During important times, Raymond and Mercer had a heated confrontation. The two men fought to control the situation. The tension reached its peak. and it seemed like there was no way to end the war. The sound of gunfire echoed through the air. Police began closing down warehouses in response to increasing violence in the city.
System.
Ball up to my son's head.
Amidst the chaos, the riot fire spread outside, creating a dangerous and rapidly deteriorating atmosphere inside the building. The heat of the fire intensified the pressure inside the warehouse, makes the characters have to make life or death decisions. Desperate to save his son, Mercer fights to protect Ethan from Raymond's violent threats and the spreading flames. During this important time, Dante makes a decision that will change his life forever. Dante was unable to follow in his father's footsteps, so he chooses to help Mercer and Ethan escape from the burning building. This decision was a turning point for Dante. It symbolizes his father's rejection of the criminal world and his desire to escape the harsh life that defined him. Rescuing Mercer and Ethan takes the first step towards Dante's redemption, even though he knew the consequences of his past actions. It is inevitable. As the fire spread and police moved in his desperation to escape, Raymond was also shot dead by officers. His life ended in a violently futile attempt to escape. It symbolizes the tragic consequences of a life lived outside the law. Meanwhile, Dante feels guilty about the incident, accepting his fate and turning himself into the police for the damage his actions have done. Ethan was seriously injured during the chaos, but Mercer was able to take him to the hospital. The final scene shows Mercer sitting at Ethan's bedside, sad about the events of the night but determined to make amends. Ethan is still recovering from his injuries, started to open up to Mercer, and the seeds of reconciliation were planted. Their relationship is still strained, though, but the shared trauma of the night began to ease the emotional divide between them. On final reflection, the film parallels the slow recovery of the city and the personal recovery of the characters. A riot could tear a city apart, but the hope for redemption for Mercer, Ethan, and Dante lies in their willingness to face the past, make difficult choices, and work towards a better future. He's determined to break that cycle. His future lies in choosing a different path. Acceptance. The film ends with a powerful message about family, redemption, and the cost of violence. Mercer's journey to reconcile with Ethan, along with Dante's quest for personal growth and transformation, make the audience feel hopeful, even though darkness covers them. But there is always an opportunity for redemption, even in the saddest of situations.